Hey guys, I'm back. It's been a while since my last video up on YouTube. If you follow me on Instagram, you see that I've been in New York City a couple of times. I've also been traveling. I went to Boston and New Haven to visit my fiance family because it was her father's birthday, and we decided to make it a road trip. So it was the first time I drove for more than 100 miles at a time. It was pretty intense. I don't think I'm gonna do that again anytime soon because then I learned that my right knee kind of hurts after being in a car or driving for that long. So I probably won't do that anytime soon. But it was a good trip and so much has happened. So let's talk about it. So, like I said before, me and my fiance, we drove all the way from Philadelphia all the way to Boston for a couple of nights, back to New Haven for a couple of nights, and back to Philly. That was fun. We did that in the middle of, I believe that day was March 19th, and we came back that following Sunday. Outside of that, 300-mile road trip, I've also had some great opportunities come up. One, I was able to do some behind the scenes for a production company who are, I believe, I can't talk too much about it, but I'll add some interviews or non vocal interviews of some of the things I was able to capture for the production team. I was hired to come in, interview different parts of the creative team, from the owner of the production, from the art design to the director to the. I was also asked to take some awesome photos, and this was the first time I actually brought the Leica Q3 43 out into the wild. More on that later. As many of you may not know, that I actually just picked up a new Leica camera, the Q3 43. We'll talk about that a bit later. Other things that I've been doing is I've been working with my homie Mark. I've had the opportunity to meet Mark years ago, aka from Instagram, finally met in Philadelphia, and we've been working on and off together the last couple of years. And we had a great opportunity to shoot or do some video work at a hotel in the Wall Street area in New York City. That was pretty fun. Also in March, I decided to shoot more videos in restaurants. So I've been working with two restaurants, one Emmett in Emmett in the Fishtown area, I believe. And then two, Ember and Ash, which is local to my area, East Passyunk area.
Maybe from Liver Toast up we do, and then
I've been learning so much just shooting in a live kitchen during service. For instance, one moment, the first time for both restaurants, I decided to bring the camera I'm filming now in, the Lumix S5 Mark II, with the monitor, with autofocusing lenses, the whole shebang, a very heavy kit. The second time I shot both those restaurants, I just brought the Lumix S9 with an autofocusing lens without a monitor, still being powered by a V mount. Some I might not even bring a V mount next time I go to any of these restaurants. We'll see. But I do like the weight a little bit. So learned so much of how powerful the Lumix S9 is. Granted, it's the exact same as the Lumix S5 Mark II. I hope that I could get my hands on the new Lumix S1 R2, which was announced in March. I'm hoping to then be able to have a three body Lumix setup potentially, because I believe the color science for all cameras might be the same. Granted, the sensor in the Lumix S1 R2 is different, so we'll see if I actually pick that up. I had to rent it out to see first. Also in March, also the reason why I haven't been able to post, also the reason why I've been out of the YouTube scene is because in March my father had gotten very sick and he also passed in that same month. So I've been busy spending time with family while still complying with my obligations, because I like to keep busy. That there's one thing that my father taught me from his, from my 32 years of living, is that it's best to keep enjoying life, keep living. He had a very hard or very intense work ethic. So during this time of, grief or trying to cope with what was happening, I decided to take on as many projects as possible, and it actually worked out pretty well. I've met amazing people. I've been able to confide in some people that I didn't even know that I could talk to. I created a blog post. That is as much as I've done um, in the March timeframe. I'm gonna link the blog post below, and it really comes down to about loyalty. It's a pretty cool blog post. You should check it out. So March is has So March was definitely a very jam-packed month. I've been in New York maybe 5, 6 times for either for family or for actual work. I've been staying in New York quite some for multiple nights during those trips. I don't miss New York because it's quite expensive. I'm lucky enough to actually have family members, so I could actually stay with my family members. But I like to eat a lot, so during those days, I ended up spending a lot of food. I'm sorry, during that time, I spent a lot of money on food. Now, so that was March. In March, I also picked up the Leica Q3 43 at the Leica store in the meatpacking district. Boy, I really do enjoy shooting with this camera. I do think I'm going to do a whole new video or another video about this camera on its own and about how I like to use it. There are two profiles that Leica came out with. Don't remember the top of my head. One of them is brass. But in that video, I'll talk about how I like to use certain profiles in certain type of environments in certain types time of day. For example, brass, a little sneak peek. Brass I like to shoot when it's very sunny out during the middle of the day. That's one example. But a little more about that more later. I've been receiving some great comments about when I add screen capture to my videos. So now we're going to go to the computer to look at some of the awesome photos that I've taken with the Leica Q3 43. I might just show JPEGs. I don't know what I'm going to do just yet, but we'll get to that. Now we're in capture one, viewing some of the photos that I really liked so far from the Leica Q3 43. On Instagram, I've been posting a lot of different shots in my stories, which were edited with the regular iPhone Photos app, and then using the Leica Lux app, I believe, to get that nice grid showcasing the camera detail when it was taken, etc., etc., etc. I rarely with this camera actually have to bring the images into Capture One and edit them, but here we are. It's the best way for me to showcase some of those photos. So I had purchased this order in the meatpacking location and had them ship it over to my house. My first frame was taken on February 28th, 2025. So now, with some quick math, it's been more than a month of owning this camera, and it's been traveling quite a bit. So of course, whenever I get a new camera, I usually take photos inside my house because it's the easiest thing, and that's usually where I am when I get a new camera. So of course we're starting off with some random plant photos and some with my dog just laying around, and also with my cat just chilling on the couch with me. And then I took it out that night. I usually don't carry a camera out with on my dog's last walk of the day. He usually gets around 3 walks a day. But new camera, the hype, etc., etc. So I took the camera around with me, and the first portrait I took was a portrait of a guy working behind the counter at our local corner store or deli. Corner store. It's not really in the corner. It's like the middle of the block, so deli, but they don't serve food. Interesting. So I took this photo. I think he might own the shop. I'm not sure, but I took a photo of this gentleman. He actually asked me to take the photo, and of course I was saying, "Of well, of course," I said, "Of course I'll take the photo. Why wouldn't I take the photo?" So I actually did send him this photo, which I never got an email back. I should probably go into the shop to confirm that he received the photo. But yeah, this is when I knew that this camera was amazing. That Apple 43 f2 lens, just amazing what it's capable of rendering once it re just a great lens. So I make sure not to make this as long as my normal capture one or reviews. Some of these photos may or may not be edited, but just to showcase the random things that I've been shooting with this camera. I think I took a roughly around 5 minutes to photograph this scene. The scene I walk by every day, but I think it was a gloomy day, so I just decided to take my time and get some colors, or to see what type of lighting and color that I was seeing through the lens. It's one of those things where Leica is just my preferred camera to use outside for everything besides video. Granted, I would have loved to have the opportunity to test the Leica SL3S for some of my random videos that I take at restaurants, but maybe one day I will get the opportunity. Who knows? But right now for stills, I have the Leica Q3 I have the Leica SL3. I still have like a M10 monochrome, which I'm actually probably gonna sell. So if you're in the market for like a monochrome M10 limited edition, only 650 copies were made. Please reach out. Reach out. So just walking around my neighborhood, this funny story about these blueberries. We go to the 9th Street Market to get most of our fruits and produce, and they just had a crate of blueberries for $3. My fiance loved blueberries, so we got it. And just going to Sprouts and just more photos of just everyday life. Of course, this camera is capable of doing a in camera crop. So some of these photos weren't actually taken at a 43 length when I took them. So the JPEGs might be a little tighter, but you're getting the full view here. Cool thing with using the 43 or Q3 is that I usually shoot from the hip, and sometimes with zone focusing, depending on the day and depending on, if I can understand the scene quickly enough, I will be able to hit some zone focusing shot. But of course, usually at a f5.6, a f8, etc., to make sure I get whatever I need in actual focus using an autofocusing lens that is so compact and semi inconspicuous. It's allowed me to open up the idea of like shooting at 2. And if I want to zone focus, I still can zone focus with the camera because it has focusing zones. I stumbled onto a protest. I think that within the first weekend of me owning this camera, I cropped this photo so much. It was one of those moments where like I snapped a photo, and then she said to take another one, but I didn't. For some reason, I was talking to someone and I didn't actually, you know, take my time and actually went up to her to take the photo. So as you can see here, this is a very, 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 very cropped in photo of a much larger photo. Shockingly enough, I think I took over about 4,000 photos already with this camera, which is, I think, a pretty high amount within 1 month. But of course, like the whole premise of this, the whole premise of this video is about how busy I've been and also about all the things that I have or have not done in March. And taking photos with this camera is definitely one of the things I've been doing a lot of. Just taking photos of scenes that are already the everyday life. As you saw, my dog likes to lay down on the couch like most dogs do. And you'll also see at the bottom that a lot of these shots were shot with ISO 6400, and this camera, to my eyes, still look clean. And I enjoy what I'm getting with the ISOs up to 6400. I haven't pushed it as much because I haven't had to, especially with having the f-stop going down to 2. I don't think I need to go higher than 6400. Really like this photo of my cat. Not really a cat person. Now that I think about it, I don't think I have photos of my other cat as many photos, but I'm sure he'll pop up. But yeah, this camera's compact. It's great. This is when, here are a few photos while I was shooting some videos at Emmett. Early in this video, there was a video of the restaurant, and these are some stills of the first time I was there. And I really like these black and white photos. Of course, I gravitate to black and white. I wasn't there really to take photos yet, but I just, I have the Q3 43 with me. It's such a great B camera, especially if I'm shooting with like the S9. Two compact cameras, one with great video skill capabilities and one with great photo skills. And my favorite photo of this whole set is this one right here, just because you can see a shadow of someone. I don't know if I posted this. I don't know how many people realize this, but it's just great. I there's nothing more I can say about it. The photo's just, I just really like the photo. Here's some photos of going to, I forget what town I was in. I think Allentown, somewhere further north in Philly. I was on assignment to capture some neighborhood environmental shots. This is in some shots in KOP Mall. I had to go buy some some knee brace. Yeah, at Dick's Sporting Goods. There are not that many Dick's Sporting Goods in the Philadelphia area, so I had to venture out. And here's some shots at Ember and Ash, a local restaurant owned by a lovely couple. The team is amazing. This These photos were taken at their first ever brunch service, and it was a pretty hectic. As I was there, they were telling me, or they continued telling me how understaffed, because they didn't realize how much people or the demand was going to be for the first brunch. And the chef was cooking nonstop for a few hours. I believe they opened at 11, but they didn't get any type of slowdown until 1:30, 2 o'clock. I can only imagine, especially because they cook in an open flame. So while I was comfortably behind or far away from the flame, it still felt hot. So I can only imagine on a summer day how hot it gets when you're actually cooking near the flame. These are some shots of a production that I had invited to take some behind the scenes. I'm not gonna really showcase them because I don't want to give away their video concept just yet. So this is me going to New York, taking some frames in New York. This is me going to Emmett again, but having more of a thought of like, oh, let me actually take some stills because I really like those photos. Also wanted to make sure I shot them in color. Sometimes my headspace looks and thinks in black and white, and sometimes I had to force myself to think and look at scenes in color. Another Sunday brunch at Amber and Ash. Like I said in the beginning of this video, these are the two restaurants that I really enjoy, and I also really gravitate to the owners and the chefs because they are very personable and just awesome human beings. If you're in the Philadelphia area and you're somehow a chef and you're watching this video, let me know. I would love to come in and see what we could do together. I am looking for 2 more chefs to work with for the first half of this year. So just reach out if you're watching this video. Some more photos of me traveling using the Amtrak to go to New York. This is when me and my fiance reached to Boston. Some shots in Boston. I didn't really take that many photos because it was super gloomy. As you can see, there's some DNGs and JPEGs coming in now. Of course, I like the DNG and also the JPEG. But yeah, there's gonna be a video coming soon about my preferred profiles and how I like to shoot them with the Leica Q3 43. So wait on that. It should be coming sometime this month. I'm hoping to shoot as much or create as much as possible in the next few months before my wedding day in July. This is a interesting photo because I still like this photo. And while it does have I forget the technical phrase for this, it's not supposed to work, but because of this lady's coat and the lines, I just think it still works. I don't think I posted this yet, but I really like that photo. And these are some more frames in Boston. This is some frames in New Haven in the on and around the Yale campus. Beautiful city. Very, very beautiful city. It reminds me of the time when I lived in Stanford. So much space, so much air. It was definitely very cold that day. So it was kind of amazing. I think it was in the 70s or 80s in Philadelphia, but we were in Stanford, so it was only 50s. This is a short drive, Mystic, located, I think, less than an hour away from New Haven. So my fiance and I and her and a couple friend, a friend or a couple that we're friends with, decided to drive up and spend the day in Mystic, and it was awesome. A little coastal town. The last few frames should be that we went to brunch at Amber and Ash right after we drove, I think, 2 hours from New Haven. Some frames. I really, really, really like these frames. And actually, the last few frames are when I was in New York at the end of the month, around, I think, March, let's see, March 29th. I was snapping away. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed what you're seeing. As you may know, my name is Jacob Francois, a photographer currently living in the Philadelphia area. If you did like what you see, I hope you like and subscribe. I'm hoping to create more videos this month to make up my absence. If I don't, it is what it is. So I'll see you on the next one. Peace.